So a couple of days ago, two YouTubers that I have a ton of respect for released videos called The Pressures of Being a YouTuber. The first was Casey Neistat, who I'm sure if you're watching this channel, you know who he is. He is somewhat of a legend on this platform. And the second was a mentor from afar and someone that I had a great conversation with when I met him down in Florida, Roberto Blake. And the idea behind these videos is just sort of talking about what it's really like being a YouTuber and the pressure that you feel when you are trying to do this. Now, I saw these videos and I immediately thought, this is right. This is absolutely 100% true. But I thought they maybe didn't go far enough. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Greg Clunas. I am the host of a podcast called Tiny Leaps, Big Changes that does about 250,000 downloads a month and is a top 100 self-help and health podcast in the world. So if you're interested in improving your life and just starting to achieve the goals that you've set for yourself, definitely click subscribe because you're not going to want to miss any of those. With that said, as a podcaster first and a YouTuber second, when I saw these videos, I realized they just don't go quite far enough because it's not about the pressures of being a YouTuber. It's about the pressures of being a creator. And that's really what I want to talk about in this video in response to Casey and Roberto and the many other people who have made videos thus far. It's really difficult to do what creators do. It's really challenging to make that your full-time career. And for the obvious reasons. Throughout the process, you're going to feel like you don't know what you're doing. You're going to feel like you have no clue what's going on. You're going to have trouble balancing relationships. You're going to have trouble with the need to keep going. When you have any level of success whatsoever, feeling like if you stop, that success will disappear. You're going to have trouble with the need to stay consistent. You're going to have trouble with the need to pay your bills because let's be honest, unless you break out, creators struggle to make money. You're going to feel like no one around you can really understand what you're going through or what you need to do. And the thing is, I can tell you all of this. I can outline for you all of these struggles and the pressure of being a YouTuber or a creator. There's a better way of doing it. I thought there was potentially a more impactful way of getting that message across. And so what I'm going to do, I have here with me my journal, and over the last 2 going on 3 years of being a creator and taking that seriously, I have journaled a lot of the experiences that I've had. And I just want to read some of the entries to you because I think that will be the best way to show you what it's like to be a creator, especially in those early stages when you haven't quite figured out all of the necessary pieces. All right, so we've got the journal here. I'm gonna just read directly from it. So 8/28/16, August 28th, 2016. Quote, I feel really anxious right now. I mean, it's weird because I also feel very excited. I have such an amazing product in the works. There's so much potential here, and I honestly think it's the company that can change a lot for me. But I don't freaking know what I'm doing. Seriously, I'm so confused by everything. I don't know what to do next, and I don't feel confident in anything that I'm doing at all. So that's dated 8/28/16, a little less than 2 years ago at the recording of this video. And I was really just starting out with no clue what was going on, no idea what I was trying to do, no direction, no clear understanding of how to monetize or how to make things work, just no understanding whatsoever and all confusion. But I was in it. I was heads down trying to push through and figure out the mess that I had gotten myself into. Now we're going to fast forward a little bit to February 20th, 2017. So, quote, the last 14 days have seen amazing changes in my career and finances, but I'm afraid that my relationship is suffering. Now, for context, I've been with my girlfriend Rachel since senior year of college, And it's been a long journey. There's been a lot of struggle. There's, of course, been a lot of amazing times. But one of the number one things that being a creator does is put pressure on those relationships and makes it very difficult to manage. It becomes very challenging to do the work that you know you need to do in order to have the opportunities you're trying to create and to create the things that you want to create, and also maintain those close relationships. Now, that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily what you have to do, but it is what it feels like in that moment. And now we get to the really difficult part. One of the big pressures of being a creator is that when things happen in your personal life and when things happen with your family and your relationships, it's not always easy to go away. It's not always easy to shut down. It's like any full-time job. Something happens and you have to get back on the horse the next day. But there's an extra challenge with being a creative because so much of it comes from your state of mind and your mood and your capability to produce independently. And so dated 6/28/17, so June 28th, 2017. Hi, a lot has happened since we last spoke. A lot of good things and a lot of weird things. Number one, my dad has lung cancer. That's been a tough thing to accept, and frankly, I still haven't. But luckily, number two, his lung cancer was caught early. He's had surgery, removed a piece of his lung, and is in recovery. And then number three, I landed a book deal. This was by far the best thing that's happened so far, and I'm feeling really excited. So here I am. I have, in this moment, 2017, June 28th, 2017, I have these two completely opposing things going on. I have my greatest fear coming to fruition. My dad being diagnosed with lung cancer, something that has always been in the back of my mind as a possibility because he smoked for many years. But here it is, real. I'm now dealing with it. And on the other side, a goal I've had for 10 years finally happened. My podcast got picked up. A publisher listened to it. They said, hey, we want to turn it into a book. I got a deal, and I started working on it. So how do you balance that? How do you balance the extreme low point of, wow, I don't know what's going to happen with my dad, and the ridiculous high point of, oh my God, this thing I've wanted for 10 years is finally happening? How do you deal with that? That's one of the main pressures of being a creator, is trying to figure out how you navigate that, because there are such big extremes. You can have amazing thing happens, but you can have really, really difficult things happen as well. So fast forward a little bit, dated 11/20/2017, and this one gets tough. Quote, so my dad passed away. Today's 1 month exactly since his funeral. I still don't completely believe it, but it's true. I've tried to use this as fuel to push harder, to gain power, to build wealth, but it's affecting me. It's affecting me in incredible ways that I could never have really imagined. I'm trying to be normal, but everything feels wrong. I have to keep moving forward. I think this entry is the best explanation of what the pressures of being a creator is like. When you create something that you did not expect to win, and it wins in ways that you could never have imagined, there is this pressure of needing to keep it up, of constantly showing up so that you don't throw away that opportunity. And what that does in the short term is it allows you to push things to the back of your mind when bad things happen. In the long term, it causes a lot of damage. Because when my dad passed away, that same day, that same night, I set up and took a sales call. And the next day, I worked. And the day after that, I worked. And the day after that, I worked. And I put my head down and I put my blinders on, and I told myself that Yes, I'm sad now, but one day I wasn't going to feel as sad. And when that day comes, I wanted to be in the best position possible. And I told myself that this is what he would have wanted me to do. And I told myself that if I stopped now, it would all disappear. And I think that that's a pressure that every creator who has accomplished even a fraction of the things they want to accomplish feels, is that if they stop now, if they take their foot off the gas, it'll all disappear. And so in order to stop that from happening, they push through and they do the things that they know they have to do, even though they're not mentally in a place to do it. That's damaging. That's really, really damaging. March 11th, 2018. Quote, "Third time's the charm. This week, I'm putting in notice at my job and starting the process of walking away again to create the life I've always dreamed of." Now, you guys have probably seen, and if not, you should go back to my channel and check it out, a video I did called I Got Fired. In March, I planned on quitting. I wasn't able to do that. I did not hit the financial requirements that I set out for myself, and so I had to suck it up and keep going. Then in April, I got let go, and it was earlier than I expected. I wasn't at the number that I knew I needed to be at, and it was terrifying because this was, as the quote says, the third chance. This was the third attempt to leave and be a creator full time, to make this thing that I've always wanted to do for my entire life work full time. This is coming from someone with a podcast that gets 250,000 downloads a month, a book that is publishing next January, a community of 3,000 plus people on Facebook, a large email newsletter, and a ton of other assets. And this was my third attempt at making it work, at tying all of those things together into a cohesive business that could allow me to survive on my own. And I was terrified. I played that game before, but I was terrified that I was going to make the same mistakes. I was terrified that something else bad was going to happen and I wasn't going to be able to deal with it. I was terrified that it just wasn't going to work. And this is 2 years after my first entry that I read. And then finally, the final entry, 4/12/18. I'm having major I'm not good enough vibes right now. 2 years after starting, 2 years after taking it seriously, after pushing through all of the doubt, after pushing through all of the I don't know what I'm doing, after dealing with my dad's death and getting to the other side, after writing my book during that period of time where I was heads down ignoring my father's death, after putting everything I could into being a creator, after struggling with balancing my relationships and really putting in the work to make both work because I don't want to give up either, after doing everything possible to make this a thing, 1 month ago, a little over 1 month ago, I'm feeling major I'm not good enough vibes. That's what it means to be a creator. That is the pressure of being a creator. It's never knowing whether or not you're good enough. Never knowing. No matter how much you try to hype yourself up, no matter how much you tell yourself that you're good enough, it's never knowing. And if I could just read one more, this is from the day before my birthday this year, so April 2nd, 2018. So going back in time here. The last one that I read was April 12th. This one is April 2nd. From April 2nd. And I think this sums up everything that I'm trying to say here. Quote, "In the last year, I landed a book deal and finished writing it. I got hired at Neistat and let go from it. I grew my agency. I landed a speaking gig. I cleared 3 million downloads on the podcast and I grew my community dramatically. Then my dad died. The real pressure of being a YouTuber, the real pressure of being a creator is in knowing that you are traveling the path that most people don't. It's in understanding that in order to do that, sacrifices must be made. And it's in dealing with the day-to-day of balancing those sacrifices so that you can keep moving forward. That is the pressure of being a creator. It is not easy by a long shot, and it gets even harder when you have some degree of success. But the beauty of being a creator, the amazing thing about being a creator, a YouTuber, a podcaster, an Instagrammer, a whatever you are, a Twitcher, is that what they call them, a streamer? The amazing thing about it is that if you want it, if it is something that you desire, In this day and age, there is nothing stopping you. There is nothing in your way. The floodgates are open and you can carve your path through it. There's nothing stopping you. And the most amazing piece is that you never have to stop. You can fail 5 times and try again. This is my 3rd attempt at being self-employed. Even with all of these successes that I've gained, this is my 3rd attempt at making it work full time. And if I fail in another 6 months and have to go back and get another job, I'm going to try again. And if I fail at that, I'm going to try again. And if I fail after that, I'm going to try again, because the rest of my life is going to be spent trying again, because I never have to stop. And that is the beauty of it. So yes, being a creator is difficult. Being a YouTuber is difficult, but I urge you, if you want this, to keep going. And with that said, I've been Greg Clunis. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't hit that bell notification. Check out some of the other videos on the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.